This wasn't how the dream was supposed to go. Billed as Brazil's next great hope and signed by the biggest club in the world for a jaw-dropping fee, Endrick's future was meant to be written in the stars. But just 18 months into his Real Madrid career, the Wonder Kid was lost. Benched. The whispers had already started, echoing from the unforgiving stands of the Santiago Bernabeu to the bustling cafes of his native Brazil. Was he just another failed prodigy? Another cautionary tale? The pressure was immense, the spotlight was blinding, and the dream was fading, fast. This is the story of his transformative 2026 loan to Lyon, a move that became his ultimate act of defiance. This is how Endrick went from a forgotten talent to a legend in the making, all in one season. Before the colossal transfer fees and the weight of that iconic white shirt, there was just a boy from Taguatinga, Brazil, with an almost supernatural talent. Endrick's story doesn't begin in a fancy state-of-the-art academy. It begins with his father, Douglas, working as a janitor at Palmeiras' training facility, just so his son could get a chance. Douglas saw the fire in him, a precocious ability that just didn't make sense for his age. He filmed Endrick's exploits on dusty local pitches, creating highlight reels that would eventually make scouts across the country sit up and pay attention. After a near miss with Sao Paulo, it was Palmeiras who finally took a chance on the 10-year-old, and what followed was nothing short of astonishing. For the next 5 years, Endrick terrorized youth defenses across Brazil. While youth level stats can be wild, some reports claim he scored over 160 goals, a number that sounds more like a video game than reality. This wasn't just goal scoring, it was a statement. His explosive speed, the ferocious power in his left foot, and a fearless mentality had him drawing comparisons to Brazilian titans like Ronaldo and Romario before he could even legally drive. He was a boy playing amongst boys, but with the mind and might of a man. At just 14, he was seen fuming after a U17 loss, already showing the elite mentality of a pro. A year later, he insisted on playing a U15 final and casually dropped a goal and 2 assists in a 5-0 demolition. His legend grew with every game, but it was the 2022 Copa São Paulo de Futebol Júnior, Brazil's most prestigious youth tournament, that launched him into the national spotlight. He led the U17s to victory, scoring 8 goals in 7 matches and being named player of the tournament. The hype was no longer a whisper, it was a roar. On October 6, 2022, the inevitable happened. At just 16 years, 2 months and 16 days old, Endrick made his professional debut for Palmeiras, becoming the youngest player in the club's history. 19 days later, he scored his first 2 senior goals, shattering a 106-year-old club record. But 2023 was when he truly arrived. With Palmeiras' title hopes hanging by a thread, Endrick put the team on his back. The defining moment came against Botafogo. With his team down 3-0 and their championship dreams crumbling, he sparked a legendary comeback, scoring twice in a breathtaking 4-3 victory. He followed that by scoring the crucial title-clinching goal against Cruzeiro on the final day of the season. By the time he left for Europe, he had found the net 21 times for the senior team. Europe was watching, and one club was ready to make a generation-defining investment. In December 2022, Real Madrid did what they always do. They secured the future. A deal was struck, reportedly for a fixed fee of 35 million euros, with another 25 million euros in potential add-ons. And when Endrick turned 18 in July 2024, he was officially a Galactico. He was handed a 6-year contract and unveiled at a glittering ceremony at the Santiago Bernabeu. The dream was real. His first season, 2024-25, was all about adjustment. He made 22 La Liga appearances, a respectable number for a teenager at a club like Madrid, but his impact was limited as he got used to the blistering speed and tactical chess of European football. Expectations were still sky high, but patience was the word of the day. Came the 2025-26 season, and the dream started to crack. With Kylian Mbappe gone, Endrick was handed the club's iconic number 9 shirt, the same number worn by legends like Di Stefano, Hugo Sanchez, and the original Ronaldo. It was a huge vote of confidence, but also a crushing weight. The pressure ramped up tenfold. Before he could even build any momentum, disaster struck. In May 2025, a severe hamstring injury sidelined him for over 2 months, cruelly robbing him of a spot in the FIFA Club World Cup. When he finally returned in mid-September, he was a ghost. A new manager, the legendary Xabi Alonso, had replaced Carlo Ancelotti over the summer. Tasked with managing a squad packed with world-class talent, Alonso just couldn't find a place for the raw, still developing Brazilian. Weeks turned into months, and Endrick was a permanent spectator. Between September and late November, he made just 3 appearances for the first team, clocking a measly 99 minutes of football. The explosive force from Palmeiras was now a frustrated figure on the bench, his confidence visibly draining with every game he watched from the sidelines. The notoriously impatient Spanish media began to turn on him. The narrative flipped from wonder kid to flop. Questions were being asked about that massive transfer fee. Was he just another kid who couldn't handle the pressure of the Bernabeu? For a 19-year-old dreaming of leading Brazil in the 2026 World Cup, sitting on the bench just wasn't an option. Something had to change. This is that moment where so many promising careers just fizzle out. The pressure gets to be too much, the opportunity never arrives, and the world moves on. But Endrick's story wasn't going to end here. If you're finding this story of resilience inspiring, hit that subscribe button, because what happens next is a masterclass in rewriting your own destiny. As the January 2026 transfer window opened, it was obvious a move had to be made. Real Madrid knew they had a diamond, but a diamond is worthless if it's kept locked in a box. They needed him to play, to grow, and to get back the swagger that made him a global name. On December 23rd, 2025, a lifeline appeared. Olympique Lyonnais. The 6-month loan deal was a stroke of genius. Lyon agreed to pay a loan fee of up to €1 million and cover half of Endrick's wages. There was no option to buy. This wasn't a sale, it was an investment in his development. Real Madrid's message to Lyon was crystal clear: play him. For Lyon, a team sitting 5th in League One and competing in the Europa League, it was a no-brainer. They had every reason to make the Brazilian the focal point of their attack. After a short delay with paperwork, Endrick's debut was set for January 11th, 2026, a tough cup match away at Lille. Any nerves he might have felt were gone in 42 minutes. Drifting to the back post, he perfectly met a flicked-on cross and guided the ball into the net for a debut goal. It was the game winner in a 2-1 victory, the perfect start. That goal wasn't a fluke, it was the opening of the floodgates. The player who looked so lost in Madrid was suddenly reborn in France. He was playing with a freedom and fire that had been bottled up for months. A week later against Brest, he set up the winning goal. Then, on January 25th, came the explosion. Against Metz, Endrick delivered a performance for the ages, scoring a sensational hat-trick, the first of his professional career, in a 5-2 thrashing. At 19 years and 188 days old, he became the youngest player in Lyon's history to score a league hat-trick, smashing a long-standing record. League One became his new playground. Under manager Paulo Fonseca, who used him both as a central striker and cutting in from the right, Endrick was on fire. He was linking up play, creating chances, and finishing with ice-cold precision. His form was electric. In early February, he added another screamer in the Coupe de France, a thunderous 25-yard strike against Laval that sent Lyon into the quarter-finals. In just a handful of games, he had already racked up 5 goals and 1 assist. The French press hailed his start as almost perfect. The whispers from Madrid were replaced by roars of approval from Lyon. Talk of a Brazil call-up for the March friendlies went from hopeful to expected, reviving his World Cup dreams. The kid who looked like a lost talent just 2 months ago was now one of the most informed strikers in Europe, reminding the world exactly why Real Madrid paid all that money in the first place. Endrick's journey through the 2025-26 season is a testament to talent, sure, but more than that, it's about resilience. It's a story that proves the road to becoming a legend is never a straight line. Faced with the crushing pressure of the Bernabeu and the frustration of the bench, he simply refused to let his dream die. He traded the weight of the number 9 shirt in Madrid for the chance to wear it with pride in Lyon. And in doing so, he didn't just save his season, he reignited his entire career. The loan wasn't a step down, it was a bet on himself. He proved that opportunity is the oxygen that talent needs to breathe. In just a few short weeks in France, he recaptured the explosive joy and ruthless finishing that first made him a star in Brazil. He reminded everyone of the generational player that was always there, waiting just beneath the surface. The season is far from over, and the biggest questions are still out there. Will this incredible comeback in Lyon set him up for a triumphant return to conquer Madrid? Will he force his way into Brazil's World Cup squad and announce himself on the biggest stage of all? One thing is for sure, Endrick is no longer a lost talent. He's a player who stared into the abyss, didn't blink, and turned a crisis into the season of his life. What do you think is next for Endrick? Can he become a true legend at Real Madrid? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And for more stories from the beautiful game, don't forget to subscribe.